All right, boys, I'm going to show you how I lost 1.867K today. It's actually been minus $489 since these 5 accounts are evals, but whatever. Let's go. So, starting with the top-down analysis, as always, we had a previous week's low right here, marking that one out. Then on the 4-hour time frame, when we see there was pretty much nothing we could take or anything, since we were kind of chopping around, accumulating in that range. Then on the 1-hour time frame, we had this fair value gap right here. Let me see. Boom. I did even mark it out here because it's so far high up there, but yeah, this one. And then we had 30-minute fair value gaps. We had this one right here. Let me mark it out as a box so you can see this one. And we had this one. I wanted to see a tap into either of them to then short down into the previous week's low. So kind of here, market opens there, goes up, and then goes down eventually. Into the low actually was what I wanted to see, but it didn't happen today. Whatever. Let's get into the action now today. So looking into the New York Open, let me go into it real quick. We had New York Open right here into the 30-minute fair value gap. And what we could see is this rejection block right here. Let me delete the fair value gap boxes right here. Then we had this 1-minute rejection block. I entered on this 1-minute rejection block. I didn't wait for a 5-minute rejection block just because we were pretty early into the day and I was kind of anticipating volatility in there. So I went with shorts right here. 10R anticipated into the session low. Didn't happen. It just ran there, no problem. Since we have high aura trading, we are okay with losses. Then it went into the next 30-minute fair value gap, which was the point where I really wanted to short. We had another rejection block right here. Boom, let me mark it out. But we had no entry since this candle right here didn't go back into the rejection block. If I do it like that, we had, I think, 20R if we just go into this low. Yeah, I think on NQ it was 21R actually. We just didn't have any entry possibility in there. If you trade inverse fair value gaps, there was this opportunity, but we want high R, so we take rejection blocks. Didn't happen. Yep, was unfortunate, but it's okay. Then I took a 10 a.m. setup, which was this one. As you can see, I have already marked out the rejection block that I took from 10 a.m. Since we opened with no wick, I wanted to see the manipulation, blah, blah, blah. Then we manipulated with the rejection block. The rejection block rejected this low right here. And I wanted an entry actually earlier. You can see my entry was here, but I wanted to have my entry here. But I was looking at my risk, fixing my risk, changing up my contract since I entered with 4 contracts. But my suggestion was with 5 contracts, I think. Great limit order. Yeah, it took 5 contracts. So I wanted to change it into 4. But yeah, I just took too much time for it. Doesn't matter. I got tapped in right here. Then it went up into the break-even point. The break-even point was just the last swing high that happened there. And then we eventually just chopped around and yeah, I got out at break-even, didn't lose any money, but it's quite unfortunate that we didn't distribute higher. And then we actually had the distribution from this rejection block that I wanted to take initially. As you can see here, having this as my target, it printed in the end. Yep, can't do much there. Just a regular day following your rules, having one loss, a small loss, as you can see with that one account, minus 200, doesn't matter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, write it down in the comments. That's it. Thank you and see you tomorrow or whenever. Bye.